I'm host of JED in the Region here on AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM. Also streaming live in video on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. You can get us all on all three of those platforms. Just type in WJOB 1230 on any one of those platforms, and then it'll be me standing outside holding a WJOB microphone, courtesy of Ironworkers Local 395, in the community, building bridges, the infrastructure of our concrete structures, and just laying iron all over the Calumet region for generations. Hey, there's beepers already! I don't know why that's so exciting when someone beeps. Hey, you too! Hello, I got a Jeep. I'm going to call out the cars coming by today. Jeep. SUV beeping. Beeper. It's a SU beeper. Whoa, it's slippery out here, man. Now we're going to get some slickness coming. I almost slipped right there. Did you see that? See that? Let me do it again. Do. Big truck. Whoa, almost slipped again. And part of that is that you want me here or here? One or two? Tell me what. You don't care. I'm going to stand here. All right. Traffic's moving along pretty well in the Calumet region. It's going to get up to 41, 42. A lot of this stuff's going to start. Hey, thanks. Nice beeper. Nice hat. Nice baseball hat in the morning. And stuff's going to melt today, man. And we're going to get big rivers of it. I don't know where it's going to go. You heard Dave Kuziak. Now, Kuziak, I'm pretty sure this is a test of our friendship, okay? And somebody texted him. Jed was talking and wondering when Kuz was going to get to my house and fix the ice dams. And Kuz is going to say, as soon as you pay me for having those guys remove that big dresser from your front yard. All right, well, I'm on that, okay? So Kuz came in and talked about ice damming, and basically what it is that you get all these dams of ice around your gutters or around the end of your roof, and then that they start melting and refreezing and freezing, and then the ice goes back up the roof. Evidently, roofs are made to push water away. They're not made to accept them. So then the ice goes under the shingles or maybe even under the tar roof or whatever it is. And then when it starts to melt, then it starts to come down into your facility. We're having a little leak here at the Purdue one. And it's, this is brand new stuff here. So they're fixing it. I mean, it can happen anywhere, but you gotta get on it. So hopefully Kuz will be out of my house today, pushing away some of that snow above basically the ice line right now. So I think he's right. Nobody gets on a roof. You're not supposed to get on a roof. You get one. He was talking about these snow rakes. I got to be honest with you. I've done a lot of things in my house. I guess I'm not the most craft-oriented person when it comes to like building things, but I will get out and do some landscaping and, maybe paint a house or get out and clean the gutters out, that kind of thing. But I've never removed the snow above an ice dam. Now I've had a few leaks too, but Kuz is putting out a all-points bulletin about ice dams today, and so give him a call, 923-3007, I think it is. All right. Is it 922-3007 or something 3007? All right, let's take a look at what's going on around the Calumet region. Olympics last night, a lot of folks watched that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And in terms of local stuff, we just, Verly Suggs was in with me yesterday. And she was getting a little bit like, why do you find all this stuff entertaining? And I'm like, well, it kind of is entertaining. It's kind of like watching Trump in the circuit. Hey, thanks for beeping. Hello, everybody. Hey, tip your bartender on the way out, will you please? It's like kind of like watching the Trump circus at the national level. Well, we have our own local circus, and it involves a lot of people. And I got to tell you that yesterday, the circus came to town, and a lot of the circus right now is centered on the race for sheriff of Lake County, Indiana. Now, let's give a little background for the people that just happen to pick up me coming across the country and say they're fiddling with the stations. The wife just woke up. She's been sleeping all night. They're going to Uncle Frank's house for a wake and a funeral. And they're driving, and they're like, oh, let's listen to this guy standing outside in front of the Purdue Northwest Commercialization Center. We had a sheriff by the name of Roy Dominguez. Hey, slow down, you. And then he left, and John Bunsage came back in. He was already sheriff once. Now he is on his way. He's at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, serving at 15 years, 8 months. Hey, good seeing you. 15 years. Turn your lights on. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Turn your lights on. He waved and everything. There you go. That means he's listening. Thank you. Next time, turn them on, pull it out of your garage. So then you got a Democratic caucus. So everybody wants the job because the other guy's is at prison. So Oscar Martinez wins it. Hispanic guy that's been a cop for a long time. And you think, all right, well, he's going into a big election coming up this year. And there's a number of guys that are going to be challenging him. Mike Brown is well known. And Richard Ligon is well known also. So is Dave Dowling. And, those are kind of the main front runners. So to be Martinez, Dowling, Ligon, and Mike Brown. And all four of those people kind of look like, well, one of those will probably win this. There's Wally DeRose, and then there's Maria Trajkovic, and so you got all that going. But I think there's maybe 8 now. And then yesterday, in a surprise filing, Betty Dominguez filed. But it's not Betty Dominguez right now, it's Maria Dominguez. That is Sheriff Roy Dominguez's wife, filed for sheriff. And that just made the circus music go dun dun da la 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 dun dun. Want to see it? Dun dun da la la dun 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 dun. Hey, Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. Trouble ahead, trouble behind. Anyways, so was fun yesterday. I was like, wow, this is going to get juicy. And then, Adrian Santos, the clerk of East Chicago, called in and had some choice words to say about that move by Roy Dominguez, and so did some other folks. Basically, a lot of the folks in the Hispanic community are like, why would you run somebody that's at least identifying with the Hispanic community? Well, I don't know. We're going to get to the bottom of this. But are we? Now look what's happened. The circus music has reached a crescendo. Step right up, everybody. Come right in off the midway. Come on into the tent. Who knows what can happen under the tent of Lake County politics? Here we go. Front page. Post-Tribune, front page Times. Let me just pick one. Let me look at Times first. Sheriff of Lake County, Oscar Martinez. Facebook posts are a smear campaign. So here we go. Lake County officials are calling on the state police now to investigate whether political attacks launched through an alleged fake Facebook account are a felony violation of state law. Now we have all these people, all these institutions. Now we have the Indiana State Police have been invited into the tent. Now Indiana State Police investigators are weighing whether they'll jump into the fray of alleged dirty politics that documents in the case linked to one county sheriff's candidate and former police chief. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of summarization, which is Noitazaramos backwards. And we're going to say that somebody put up Jackie Sutton. Jackie Sutton. Bueller, Jackie Sutton. All right, hold on a second. Here's what I'm going to do. As everybody comes by today, I'm going to ask, are you Jackie Sutton? Are you Jackie Sutton? No, they didn't say anything. Okay, let's try this one. Hey, are you Jackie Sutton? Okay, no, that's not it either. No, that's not Jackie Sutton either. Are you Jackie Sutton? Will the real Jackie Sutton please stand up? All right. Well, anyways, nobody's coming back to me. All right. So let's go to the. Well, I could pick up the Post Tribune's on the ground, so I'll pick up the Times and see what they have to say. Basically, they've done some computer forensics, which I believe you can get a degree in, or at least take some classes here at Purdue Northwest. So maybe it was a Purdue Northwest student who was able to do this kind of forensics. And this Jackie Sutton, you can type it in on Facebook. Jackie Sutton's right there. Hey, hold on a second. Here's it. Hey, are you Jackie Sutton? No, okay, good enough. All right, here we go. So Lake County Sheriff's Oscar Martinez and Lake County Prosecutor Bernard Carter said they want an outside agency to expose a group of people suspected of conducting a smear campaign against Martinez and others running for election this year. The Times has learned initial probe by county police turned up telecommunications records linking the attacks to the home of Cherville Police Dave Dowling. Also, to Dave Dowling, of course, is the retiring Cherville police chief on Friday. I interviewed him on Monday. Okay? The home of political activist and federally convicted felon Robert Cantrell. Woo-hoo! Bobby C. 1960 East Chicago, Washington. Trester Award winner, if I'm not mistaken. And then you get a computer ID associated with the Crown Point School Corporation. Let us look into this. Do you think that the Crown Point School Corporation is going to leave no stone unturned to find out who may have been using that computer for personal political gain? And then the home of Gilbert Gutierrez, an investigator for the county coroner's office. Gil! All right. So let's see. What does Dowling say about this? He's saying, I think this is a political scam by the sheriff. Dowling said if it was a real investigation, he would be contacting people, not the media. It is very disappointing. Cantrell said, I don't do Facebook and I don't read Facebook. And then Gutierrez and Crown Point didn't really. Crown Point released this statement. Crown Point Community School. Hey, thanks for beeping. Hey, are you Jackie Sutton? All right, that guy says he's Jackie Sutton. Are you Jackie Sutton? In search. Hey, Jackie, baby! See, everybody's Jackie Sutton all of a sudden. Look at this. I told you, all you in state police, all you got to do is stand outside. Are you Jackie Sutton? Yes, another thumbs up. We got 3 Jackie Suttons out here. Jackie Sutton is on the loose. Hold on. Are you Jackie Sutton? Okay, no answer there. Guy hasn't cleaned his windows off yet. All right, well, good enough. So, Crown Point Community School Corporation has policies regarding the use of school equipment for private matters. We also provide an open guest network. If policies are actually violated, appropriate resolution will follow. Jackie Sutton. Jackie Sutton. It says right in here in the Times, Jackie Sutton. Hey, can you guys look up the name of the guy in the Big Lebowski, Jackie, the porn king, Jackie something, Jackie Diamond or something like that? And I wonder if, you know what I'm talking about in the Big Lebowski? He's got the house with the pool and all that. They're like, all right, Jackie Sutton. All right, let's see, what do they say? Well, I can't read this. I'm standing outside. I can't do it. Somebody pick this up. Hold on a second. Hey, are you Jackie Sutton? All right, well, we've got only 3 Jackie Suttons so far, so I told you. Now you've got Bobby Cantrell. Hey, Jackie Sutton, another. Hey, beep if you're Jackie Sutton. All right, there goes a paper. There's another beeper. We've got... What'd I do? Hey, what'd I do? Am I still on? All right, I can't hear myself. Oh, you know what happens when I bend over? I'm still on, right? When I bend over, I pull my cord out because I have this like overhang on over my belt. It's called like, isn't there a word for that when it like muffin top? Yeah, I got muffin hanging over my belt line. So I kick out okay, there I am back in. So anyways, this was about ready to blow over. And I told you guys yesterday, I said, listen, for whatever reason, because it fell out again. Muffin, what rhymes with muffin top? I don't know. I was going to write a poem, but nothing rhymes with it. So I just thought I would share this moment of jocularity with you. I don't know exactly someone's calling me. Who would be calling me? Oh, let me see who it is. All right, hold on. Let me see. Hold on, I got to take a phone call. Hey, what's going on? I'm doing okay. What's going on with you? Who is this? Is it really? You want to come on the air? All right, hold on a second. All right, I got to get off the air, okay? Hold on. I got to get off the air. Yeah, I'll have a second with you. All right, guys, I have a phone call from a sheriff's candidate, so I'm going to take it off and put something else on. AM 1230, WJOP 1047 FM. Also, the voice and face of the region, and I'll be right back with you guys in just a little bit. All right, hold on a sec. All right, we're off the air. Hold on.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
Jedi's Garden Family Restaurant, located at the corner of Klein and Ridge, is Griffith's locally owned family restaurant with a down-home feel and made-from-scratch favorites you will love. Open daily from 5 a.m. to midnight, Jedi's has you covered with breakfast omelets, salads, stir-fry, seafood, and steak sandwiches. In addition to our award-winning lemon rice soup, 4 additional soups are served daily. Along with our recently expanded spirits menu, Mondays are half-price margaritas, and Wednesdays are $1 off domestics. Mention WJOB for 20% off your order. We'll see you at Jedi's at the corner of Klein and Ridge.
I want to be like the pretty people on my TV.
Now you can.
All I need are gleaming white teeth.
We can help you.
Can you find the right dentist for me?
Dr. Andy Coulteritis, he does cosmetic dental.
Will he hurt me?
No, he's gentle.
I'm terrified of pain.
He's the kindest in the land.
He sounds great. Could you repeat his name?
Dr. Andy Coulteritis, 219-836-1111.
Thanks.
When you're in the dark, where do you turn to find a trusted professional who can assure the safety of your home or business electrical system? Certified Electrician is here to help. Looking for a highly skilled electrical contractor for your next construction project? CertifiedElectrician.com is where to find one. We connect you with pre-screened electrical professionals living right here in Northwest Indiana. Experts in residential, commercial, voice data video, and signage. Certified Electrician can fulfill all your electrical needs. Visit CertifiedElectrician.com.
Travel better with Gary Public Transportation. Our Broadway Metro Express is launching on February 19th with faster trips and brand new shelters. GPTC is also launching the Maryville Shuttle on January 22nd. Schedules will be posted. Go to gptcbus.com. Follow us at Gary Transit on Facebook and Twitter for new and travel updates.
This is Tommy B. and Cardi, and you're listening to WJOB AM 1230 and 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana.
The region, home for long winters, short summers, oil, steel, and basketball. About those long winters, the groundhog saw a shadow this year. Now, some good news. The basketball postseason arrives early this year. Coverage begins on Tuesday, February 27th. Follow your team on WJOB, Region Sports Network, the TuneIn app, and Facebook. So much basketball, we're calling it the 2018 Basketball Blowout. Need more fans? Call us at 219-844-1230 or email Ryan at WJOB1230.com to get in on the games.
Am I on yet? No, all right. You got a big WJOB up there. That's good enough for me. You know, I have been, I worked here in the mid 80s, and you learn to. Back then, I learned from guys like Larry Peterson and Irv Lewin, John Baranowski. Hey, can you give me my red notebook? The one that has my notes from yesterday. Can you guys find that for me around here? It might be in my office, but I need that one because it has stuff I wrote down in it. And it might even be in my backpack, but find it, will you? And I worked here, and I learned kind of a little bit of a sardonic attitude. Let me look up sardonic real quick. Well, you cannot dress. And the only sardonic, what does that mean exactly? I think I have a grimly mocking or cynical, a bit of a sardonic attitude. And I do apologize for that, but I also learned from Larry Peterson and Irv Lewin. And who else? Barbie Cave, Tim Need, Rabarchik. All these guys I worked with. It's not in my backpack, and it's not in my office over there. Yeah, it might be in my office on the other side. But anyways, so, and I do apologize that. And I think I've handed it off to Ryan and Sam and maybe Tony and Christina Cortez and maybe to I don't know, there's probably a good 15 to 20 young folks that have worked with me that are walking around with this sardonic attitude toward Lake County politics because I kind of play it, I guess, kind of as, I guess, straightforward as I can on the air, and that's not very, very straightforward. But behind the scenes, we have a lot of fun with it because it's a lot of stuff, and you got to take you know what? Pretty soon it's all going to be over. You guys are going to go, hey, remember when JED did this? Hey, remember when JED asked everybody out on Indianapolis Boulevard if they were Jackie Sutton? Jackie Sutton. All right, hey, nobody looked it up. The Big Lebowski. Remember the guy? Somebody text me the guy's name. Jackie Trumbull or something like that. Traffic is at a stand northbound on Indianapolis Boulevard at 175th. Can't tell what the cause is. You guys are funny. All right, Big Lebowski, Jackie. There's another guy. Jackie. Let's see. Jackie. Treehorn. No, Sutton. Oh, come on, man. I can't get over this. I went to bed with a smile last night. We were reading this story online, and my wife's like, oh, my God, you look like Jack Forsythe right now when he's doing something stupid to his sisters, which he does all the time. And I go, yeah, Jack's my guy. He and Al are my little nephews, and they just pretty much do whatever I do, and that's kind of dangerous. And right now, if I called them up and said, go to bed with a smile because you got something to play with in the morning, then they would do that. But it's not Jackie Treehorn, it's Jackie Sutton, and I'll get to that in a second. Hey, let's take a look at traffic. Those headphones are going to fall right there. Anyways, 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good up to Joliet, downtown Joliet, like every day. Going that way, going westbound actually has an accident and a backup. The Bishop Ford starts to slow down, say, at 120th, and stays that way, stop and go to 103rd. But you know what? It's been worse. I'm not telling you not to go that way because it's so expensive to go Skyway and Toll Road. Borman, I-65, US 30, and Klein Avenue are all moving along pretty doggone well. And traffic is brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. And then what do you have? See the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place. And that goes through the 19th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the official Auto Show app. All right. Today is a big day. It is Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday, but all day long, if you want to get married or watch marriages, go out to Albert's at 41 and Main Street. And at 12:20 today, you can watch live on your phone Donna and Fred Halpern renewing their vows after 50 years of marriage. And they are going to do that. I think Jimmy Mulaney will reluctantly be getting out of bed after his first nap to go down 41 with Debbie Wargo, and they will Facebook Live that. I teach class at Purdue Northwest right here at 11 to 12:30, so I can't do that. So you can't find my red notebook? You know what? I must have taken it home and left it on my nightstand. That's where it is. Sorry. All right. I was reviewing my notes from yesterday. Sorry. Now let's take a look at weather. It's a little bit warmer today. You're talking 25 degrees right now here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. Hey, it's Wednesday. That means the new flyer came out. Here it is. Is this the new one or the old one? It's the new one, right? Right here. Don't ever look at me like, oh, wait. Here you go. Assorted dozen rose bunch for $16.99. Hey, can you guys run over there and get me a dozen roses for my wife? For $16.99? How do you beat that? You know what? I think that'll work. You know what I'm doing for Valentine's Day? I'm taking her on the media passes to Purdue Penn State on Sunday. Are you okay with that? All right, there you go. What's that? I already did. My dad wasn't real happy about that. Anyways, let's say 26 degrees here right now, going up to a high of 42, variable cloudiness. And then tomorrow, a high of 30, or tonight it gets down to a low of only 39. Then tomorrow, up around 44. So we get this extended period above 32 degrees. That means some major meltage. 25 degrees at local 599. It's 25 at 41. It's 26 at 697 along I-65. All right, and that is in Maryville. Weather brought to you by our good friends at Local 41, which I am a proud alum of that fine union. I'm not altogether sure they claim me when I'm walking around Indianapolis Boulevard looking for Jackie Sutton. Jackie Treehorn Sutton. Yes, let's give Jackie, which I'm guessing is a woman. Or is it a man? Because that was the confusion in the Big Lebowski. Oh, well, I thought Jackie Treehorn was a woman. No, I'm a man. So is Jackie a man or a woman? Jackie Treehorn Sutton. Jackie Treehorn Sutton. God, does that look good. All right, so if you guys are just joining us, I've had too much fun looking for Jackie Sutton. But I will tell you this. Betty Dominguez just called me, and we have a correction to make. Okay? It was reported that Betty Dominguez would be reported as Maria Dominguez on the ballot. And Betty is going to be sending me her declaration, and she assures me that it is going to be Betty Dominguez. I don't know the machinations of that, but it was reported in the Times and the Post, and then we profligated that to say that she was going to use Maria Dominguez, which is her name. And Betty informed me this morning here that, like, she and all of her sisters are all named Maria with another name attached. So, but I also asked Betty, and I'm like, all right, now, Betty, just to clarify things, you are not Hispanic, you are not Mexican, you're Filipino, right? She says, yes, born and raised Filipino. All right, good enough. So we've gotten that clarification because we were using that yesterday, that she was going to go as Maria Dominguez, and we couldn't really figure why. But she sounds very serious about her candidacy in the very short conversation I was able to have this morning with her. And I put out an invitation, and hopefully she'll come on and explain it. Now, I do want to go on. I got a couple phone calls. you got to realize where we are in America right now. Okay? And I see it in my own home. I see it in my sister's home. I see it in my brother's home where he's got the daughters and the wife. And I see it in my own family. I see it in some of the extended family. All you got to do is talk to Cousin Phyllis and you'll hear it in her voice. Women in America are tired of what they've had to put up with from, I wish I could say the word that starts with an A and ends with an E, but I can't. You could say it on Facebook, though. Okay? It rhymes with glass full, and it starts with an A and ends with an E. Men have been glass fulls for way too long, and women are tired of it. So when a woman entered the sheriff's race with, 7 other men, or 6 men and 1 woman, a well-known woman, that changed the whole dynamic. Because as soon as the discussion starts going on what a woman is all about in this race, she wins. If that becomes the way that the conversation is couched, what do you mean? Why is this not a serious candidacy? Why do you think it's a political trick? A woman runs, and the next thing you know, you guys are all calling it a slime ball tactic. What do you have against women? As soon as you define the argument that way, we could have a female sheriff. And don't you think all these candidates know it? So anyways, we've got this front page story. If you guys are just joining us, it is the case of the missing Jackie Sutton. Evidently, on Facebook, there is a person by the name of Jackie Sutton who is posting all sorts of accusations on Facebook. Bernard Carter, the Lake County prosecutor, and the current Lake County Sheriff, Oscar Martinez, are calling for a state police investigation to see who's behind this. There are preliminary indications, according to the Times, not according to us, that one of the addresses may have led back to the home of Cherville Police Chief Dave Dowling. He's running for sheriff, too, and might be one of the front runners. They're also saying that it may have gone back to the home of a guy by the name of Bobby Cantrell. The plot thickens. The circus tent opens up. The carnival barker stands on the midway and he says, "Step right up, come on in," to the circus tent known as Lake County politics. See how Lefty's doing. Speaking of circus performers, how you doing, Lefty?
Good morning, Jed. Hey, what's her name again?
I don't know who you're talking about. You're talking about Jackie Sutton?
Yeah, Jackie Sutton. Is that a real or is that a bogus Facebook account?
I don't know. Is there a real? You know what? I hadn't even thought about that. Is there a real Jackie Sutton?
You don't know if there's a real Jackie, if that's a bogus Facebook account, but yet you're friends with her on that account.
Am I? Let me look. I think I might have done that last night so I could look at her stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, most everybody who sends me one, these guys, I don't know. I didn't do that last night. Most of the time, these guys sit here and they friend people that ask to be friended. Especially, most of the time, we'll friend someone if there's 40 common friends. So my guess is these guys in the office here said, "Oh, well, Jackie Sutton's friend with 40 other people here locally, so they accept the friend request." That's it.
If I don't know somebody by person, I won't even address them.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I'll have to check how it went down, but yeah, and I don't even know if that's because there's a lot of people that are friends that get, I think we have 13,000 likes to the page. I have 4,000 friends. A lot of local people will ask to be friends, and there it is. But let's talk about this. What do you think? What do you think's going on here, Lefty?
It's not politics. It's what the new word you learned yesterday. It's called politricks.
Politricks. Lake County politricks. No, wait a second. Come on, you got to have some information on this because you always act like you have like this inside information. Is there anything you can tell us that we don't know about this?
Like Colonel Schultz would say, I know nothing.
They're saying that, according to the Times, that forensic computer evidence may link back to the home of Robert Cantrell. What do you think about that?
I don't believe nothing till I see it with my own eyes or I hear it with my own ears.
Do you think it's fair for the Times to say, here it is. The Times has learned an initial probe by county police turned up telecommunications linking the attacks to the home of federally convicted Robert Cantrell. Do they need to say that every time?
Well, do they need to say that Lefty is a convicted, like Mark Chase would say, Lefty is a convicted felon, that Lefty threatened to, that they have, or McDermott has facts that I threatened to kill a federal judge?
Did you?
Are you crazy?
Well, that's not the question, and that's not easily answered. But I don't want to go in that direction. That's a little bit dangerous right there. But do you think stick to the question. Do you think it's fair that they when Bobby Cantrell's name comes up, they put federally convicted felon Robert Cantrell?
That really, like, I don't think that bothers Bobby Cantrell. He could care less the same way I do. I can care less about anybody calling me a convicted felon, okay?
Okay, well, here's what I'll tell you, someone who does care less, and that is my cousin Phyllis, who for some reason has always been kind of liked you, and I don't know why. She calls me up, and she does it on the air, and she does it off the air. She says, you don't have to say that Lefty's a felon every time he calls in or that you refer to him. And I thought about it, and I think that maybe I think this is the first time this ever happened, but I think that cousin Phyllis might be right in that you served your time, and to denote you every time as a felon, Lefty the felon, I don't know as if that is, it's true, but is it fair? And I don't know as if it is.
Maybe we should call Cantrell Bobby Felon and call me Johnny Felon. I think there's going to be a lot more that join that 027 group, like with Sheriff. And by the way, yesterday he's down to 187 months, huh?
Who are you talking about?
The Sheriff. He already got 1 month down, huh?
He might, yeah. Is that how it's counted in federal prison? It's not counted by years; it's counted by months.
Well, there's some guys that got calendars and counted by days, but that goes too slow.
Yeah,
usually by months.
Counted by months.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Give us an idea. When you first go into federal prison, what's the adjustment like?
The first year is the hardest.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just the first year is the hardest.
Is it the separation from your family? Is it you got to find your way amongst the inmates, or what is the biggest part of that adjustment process? The most difficult?
Diesel therapy is the most difficult.
What is?
Diesel therapy for a lot of the inmates is rough.
What does diesel therapy mean?
They wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they put you on a diesel bus, and they take you from one prison to another.
And that's called diesel therapy?
Yes.
And did that happen? Does that happen from time to time?
Oh, yeah, it happens a lot when you don't want to cooperate with them. They'll put you on a bus. But that didn't bother me because I was a truck driver. I liked it on the road.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
well,
you'd get up in Minnesota, say in Sandstone, and they might take you to Leavenworth, Kansas, a big, long trip. And then go from there to Terre Haute the next morning, and then from Terre Haute maybe to El Reno, Oklahoma the next morning, and just keep doing it every morning to you.
And is that some sort of a technique that you're saying that they might try to use to get you to cooperate or something, or what?
Yeah, and punish you.
Oh, okay. Did you see that Nasser guy, the sexual molester, was carted to Phoenix on a private jet yesterday? They never had a private jet for you, did they?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well,
you that's flying Con Air.
that's Con Air.
Yeah.
All right, I get that idea. Now I know what diesel therapy is and the joke about Con Air. Well, thanks for some prison talk this morning.
What do you think about that guy they flew out there?
You know, I think that there is. Let me handle that. All right. I mean, you know, did you guys see that the Nasser? What's Nasser's first name out of Michigan? What? Larry Nasser, the convicted child molester of 150 young girls, around there, 100 plus young gymnasts, and they took him on a private single jet, and they took him out to, I think, Phoenix to put him in prison. And I was watching it yesterday on Anderson Cooper or whatever, and they were talking that one of the commentators was, well, isn't there a way to just like put him in the back and then just like turn the plane real quick and put his hands behind his back and just make him roll around the plane the entire way? And then you got to realize that there are rules on, actually, I was watching TMZ. I'm sorry. That's what it was. There are rules. You can't do cruel and unusual punishment, but there is the idea that, all right, say if you put Larry Nasser on a Greyhound bus and took him from Lansing, Michigan, or Detroit, Michigan, all the way to Phoenix. If they attacked him, if one of the people tried to attack a courtroom, can you imagine how could you put him on a Southwest flight? I mean, you know, you couldn't have enough cops on that flight to basically sit all the way around him to keep the people in the flight from trying to kill him. Okay, I get that. So they probably just added it up and said, you know what? In the end, this is just going to be cheaper and safer for us to just put this guy on a jet that we rent or we own and fly him all the way to Phoenix and put him in prison. And I get that. I get the logistics and the practical nature of that. Anyways, all right, what else you got going on, huh? Let's see how Ramon's been doing. How you been, man? What's going on? You don't go back to bed after you take your kid or what?
Yeah, I didn't take him today, though.
Oh, okay. So what's up, man? How you doing?
I don't know that, like you say, the plot thickens. This Lake County elections, this carnival or this circus talking about. Okay, Dominguez's wife, is she qualified for this job, or what did she do before?
You know what? I don't know all of the details on this, but it was told to me that she was some sort of a probation or paroled officer. And so does that qualify you to be sheriff? I mean, I don't know the answer. You know what? That's a tough question. Do you have to be a cop?
You don't really have to be qualified. You can run, but I'm just saying, why now? Why come she didn't run against her husband? Why come she didn't run another election? That's the thing. See, Oscar got the job. Let the man do the 4 years, do the job, because he's doing a real good job, you know. But then I guess everybody jump in this politics is for the money. It's got to be. That's the only way I can see it. I should throw my name in there.
You know what, Ramon? I don't know as if it's always for the money. I don't think so at all. I mean, I think that some people are addicted to Lake County politics. It's a specific addiction that has drawn in a number of people, and they just can't get enough of it. And I don't know if Betty Dominguez or Oscar Martinez or Rich Ligon or any of these people are part of it. Maybe they just want to make a difference. I get that. But I do believe that there are a lot of people that are drawn in not by choice but by need. That's kind of.
They don't need. They should make it where 3 people be sheriff instead of 1.
Like kind of like Mo, Curly, and Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what we would call it. All right? Are you Sheriff Mo? You be Sheriff Larry, and you know what? You could be Sheriff Curly because you don't have any hair.
Because there's something about that job that I get it. Because there's power and prestige. But, other than that, with all the crime that happens, something ain't right. But the guy Oscar doing a good job. I know that.
So what do you think's going to happen amongst, like, Betty is actually Filipino, but her last name is Dominguez, and she's been, active with her husband, who is active in the Mexican community. So a lot of people will identify with her as Hispanic. So now you got Oscar Martinez running against Betty Dominguez. What do you think's going to happen amongst the Hispanics in Northwest Indiana?
I couldn't say. I don't think that matter about your last name. It's where you live, the city you lived in, and what you've done in the city. It ain't got nothing to do with your ethnic background. I don't think that got nothing to do with it. It's what you did and what people know. Now, true enough, some people will perceive that. It's just like that Trump thing. Some people ain't got no sense. They jump for that. It's just like holding. You got a dog and waving a weenie and it's crazy.
Your mouth, your voice is going in and out. I don't know why that's happening. Are you?
Why?
I don't know. You get real low and then you get. Are you?
Because sometimes I talk. I'm used to.
All right, we can't hear you right now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So, all right. Well, hey, I want to talk about something that really matters. Okay.
Right.
I want to know if LeBron James is going to make it to the finals this year.
I don't like that dude.
What do you mean you don't like that dude?
I don't like the way he played that bully ball running. That's charging what he do. That ain't. They don't play like that.
All right. We're having trouble with your phone, so I'm gonna let you go right now. But I'm very surprised you don't like LeBron James. I think he is the best basketball player to ever be on the planet. I love watching the guy, and I love the way he carries himself. And that's the end of it. I hope he gets to the finals. Talk to you. Bye. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Once again, I'm Jim Diedlow, host of JED in the region. Having a little fun in the morning because, I've been around this just like many of you all your whole life. And you got to take, even though the state police are now investigating or at least considering such, you're talking about convicted felons. You're talking about sitting police chiefs. You're talking about sitting sheriffs, sitting prosecutors. They've all been invited into the circus tent known as Lake County Politics. And we said yesterday when Betty Dominguez filed on Monday and we were talking about it, I said, man, this is just going to get even more, more interesting. And it did. It only took one day. What will the next chapter hold in the race for Lake County Sheriff? Well, we really don't know. The only thing we know is that it's probably going to be what? The answer to that is right after this. Don't forget, you can always take sildenafil to get things going.
Need a ride? Call Dial-A-Ride, 932-2530, then hit number 4 on your telephone. Dial-A-Ride is free public transportation for North Township residents, sponsored by Frank J. Mervan, North Township trustee. Rides available weekdays 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. Dispatch call center open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Accessible vehicles available. To schedule a ride, call 932-2530, then press number 4. Dial-A-Ride service and this message, sponsored by Frank J. Mervan, North Township trustee.
Men, are you taking Viagra or Cialis for ED? ED should not stand for expensive drugs. If you're taking Viagra, talk with your doctor about sildenafil. Now you could get the same active ingredient in Viagra in generic 20-milligram tablets for less than $2 each, saving over $30 per dose. Available at Vito's Pharmacy. Call us 219-228-7200 or visit us at vitоспharmacy.com.
Vito's Pharmacy.
Theo's Steak and Seafood sets the standard of fine dining excellence. Delicious USDA prime meats and steaks, along with the freshest seafood in the area. Celebrate your special event with friends, family, and associates in our private dining room that can seat up to 125 people. For information, call 838-8000 or theoshighland.com. Also visit our other restaurants, Prime Steakhouse, Umi Sushi and Lounge in Crown Point, and Ted's Family Restaurant in Calumet City.
Not only does Catering by Steve's cater for all occasions, Steve's in Hegewisch has expanded their all-you-can-eat Lenten fish fry on Fridays from 11:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. during Lent. Don't forget trivia every Friday as well. Stop in for some delicious Lenten specials and sample our large selection of craft beers. We also have banquet rooms for your special occasion. Bring your family to enjoy our Easter Sunday brunch on Sunday, April 1st. Call 773-646-1071 to make your reservation. See all we have to offer at CateringBySteve.com, serving the Calumet region since 1958.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie who? Jackie Sutton. Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie who? Jackie Treehorn. Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie Treehorn Sutton. Shut up and open the door. All right, what do you have here? Let's take a look at what's happening on the traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going west is bad in downtown Joliet like it always is, man. I don't know what goes on in there. You know, I haven't driven there in a long time. Somebody texted me, is that elevated through, I mean, why? I know it turns. I remember the turn through downtown Joliet. Or as you approach downtown Joliet, it kind of turns to the left and then turns back to the right. But there's been an accident there almost every day this year. And you got something going on. It looks like you have a accident in a left lane block right before Cougar Road. You know what a Cougar is, right? That is an older girl who turned into a cougar. That's a Cougar. Anyways, Bishop Ford coming up the gut of the Southland is 115th to 103rd. That's stop and go. And then on the Dan Ryan, that's not too bad. Skyway Toll Road, Barman, I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue. Hey, everything's moving along pretty well. Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Let's take a look at weather, and this one's brought to you by CertifiedElectrician.com. Hey, if you need electrical work done, hey, have a union-based contractor do it. Check them out at CertifiedElectrician.com. 25 degrees right now with some light fogs. It is 6:32. What time is it? Time to go to Albert's. But anyways, it's 6:32, and we will have a sunrise in about 11 minutes, and that'll be right over here over Indianapolis Boulevard. And going up to a high of 42 today, variable cloudiness, which is Elbe Rav, Senidluak, and that is variable cloudiness backwards. Mist this evening, fog late. Goff Etal is fog late, and that'll be a low of 39 tonight. Tomorrow, high of 44, fog in the morning, and then rain tomorrow. So a lot of the snow is going to go away. And that's too bad because my snowshoes came in yesterday. I got kind of cheap snowshoes, and I didn't realize that they're a little bit smaller than I would need to walk on the top of snow because I'm so fat. But I shouldn't say that. I worked out yesterday with the daughter. Listened to a little Grateful Dead and worked out. And just kind of looked around and said, Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. And But the snowshoes came in, and I can't really get free today until about 1 o'clock, so I hope that the snow doesn't all melt before I can actually get out to Wicker Park and use them. There you go. That's weather brought to you by You Got All That. Let's take a look at what the markets are. Markets are up again. They were up 3 days in a row. I think it was up about 35 on the Dow. They were up around 100 this morning when I left. And we will see what the they are up 129 on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Ryan Walsh is with me today, and so is Sam Michael. And just going to kind of talk to these guys. They've developed quite the sardonic attitude toward Lake County politics, and I'd like to talk to them about this and see if we can't ameliorate the situation before we go any further. Ryan, how are you today?
Hey, I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing.
It's game day.
It's game day. What's going on?
We got Indiana and Illinois tonight, 7:30.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be a big game or something?
Yeah, it's a rivalry game for Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know. Illinois sucks, and Indiana's kind of
They do too.
Fair to Midland. So, knock knock, who's there? We really got to carry that game.
What else would we have?
I'm pretty sure I'd much rather do the AAU game between the Crown Point Magnets and the Lake County Stars. But that's another one altogether. I made all that up.
Mad Max says the line is -3.5 on the Stars.
All right, you guys, you want to hear some text coming in? Jed, you're right. It's not all about the money. It's about the power. Anyways, go ahead. What do you got? What do you got in sports?
Oh, I thought you were going to interview us about politics.
No, I want to talk sports first because.
Okay.
Let's talk about Coach Tom Medjesi of the Purdue Northwest Pride women's basketball team. Would you consider him a fairly knowledgeable man about basketball?
Absolutely.
Does it besmirch him in any way that he has choice words for me when I say that LeBron James is the best basketball player to ever play on this planet?
Well, he's not, so I don't know. I'm with Coach Medjesi.
And, I'm a little surprised that Coach Medj is so judgmental in his actions. But I would like to debate him about that. So can you set that up? And I'll bring in the stats, and he can bring in his, vast basketball knowledge, and we can figure out who the best basketball player ever to play on this planet is. I say it's LeBron James. Sam Michael, your call.
I used to just say the same thing as Ryan, that it was definitely Michael Jordan. In fact, I used to not care very much for LeBron James before he won that first championship. And since then, you watch him, and I think if the guys played one-on-one in their prime, I mean LeBron is just so much more of a, I guess physical specimen would be the word to use. People have gotten more stronger and stronger as the years have gone on, and Jordan was kind of a jump shot guy. He'd take it to the basket in a fancy way. LeBron's just going to go through you if he has to. He'll back you down. Jordan didn't really have a lot of those elements to his game, and I mean, if you look at the career points, I think Jordan's obviously still. I'm terrible at the NBA. Jordan's still in front of him, right? Yeah.
Yes. I think LeBron made 30,000 recently.
It's going to be close, and
so
I don't know.
Is there anybody else in the running, Ryan? LeBron James, and I think I'm going to have this in my sports broadcasting class.
I don't remember which one it is, but there's a kid in your class that says Kobe Bryant is.
Kobe's in there in the discussion, but his last 3 or 4 seasons.
Bill Russell.
Yeah, it's so hard to evaluate. Yeah,
Larry Bird,
Chamberlain too is
Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, he's got to be.
You know what? There's people from Indianapolis area that say that it's hands down the best basketball player ever to play the game is Oscar Roberts. And so, I mean,
Magic Johnson.
I mean, you've got a number of names, but I think really it boils down to 2 people, and that's LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it's hard because of the eras and the different way the game changed. With the 3-point shot and stuff like that, where the jump shot became more of a popular item, obviously, where you're playing later, you had a chance to score points faster. You could hit threes and do stuff like Jordan and LeBron. LeBron's not a good 3-point shooter, obviously, but some of these guys were able to really accumulate points in a hurry. Larry Bird was probably, of those guys we just named, the biggest, quote-unquote, just straight shooter, and the game was changed right when he got into it, pretty much, that you could start hitting shots from the outside. So it's so hard to evaluate. It's almost impossible.
All right, there it is. We will have that debate in my sports broadcasting class, which meets today at 11 o'clock. So I will not be able to go to Albert's for the filming of the rededication of the vows, the renewing of the vows of Donna and Fred Halpern. That takes place at 12:20 today. There at US 41 in Main Street. You guys are all invited. It's Valentine's Day. They got married in February 14th of 1968. And we will have try to get Fred and Donna on the morning show pretty soon. Will you do that, Ryan?
Yes.
I think a lot of people would like to see that. They're a great success story. I don't even know where they got married. Does anybody know? I bet it was East Chicago. What do we got in sports, Ryan?
High school boys basketball last night. Calumet takes down Hobart 72-61. Ja'Cory Gillespie has 23 in the win for Calumet. Hammond comes up short in a matchup with Chesterton, losing 67-60. Griffith beats Bowman. They've rallied from a first half deficit and win 72-64. Tim Lawson has 20 in the win for the Panthers. That's your boys basketball from last night in the high school level. Ball State wins. This one's for Dan Repay. helps us out. We'll get him into the sports report. 90-77, Ball State wins over Akron at the college basketball level. NCAA football, Notre Dame has to vacate 21 wins.
Explain.
Academic advisor helped out a couple of students by doing their projects and assignments and quizzes. And a couple of players played in games, so academic fraud. And NCAA is just telling Notre Dame, take your punishment and go away. But there's been some other universities with much more severe academic accusations, and
North Carolina,
fake classes.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I trust me, I'm no fan of Notre Dame at all. And if schools are doing stuff like that, I think not only should they get those wins taken away, I'm not sure how Brian Kelly's still employed. But I don't know what went on in North Carolina basketball with the Roy Williams stuff, where they had players taking made-up classes and doing stuff where the NCAA came in and said, well, we didn't really have rules for this and stipulations, so we're just not going to do anything about it. But Notre Dame had some kind of academic advisor take some, or help them with some tests or whatever they did specifically. I don't know. And now they're losing 21 wins. North Carolina got nothing. And I don't like either school. So this is not a biased thing. And it should be simple. If you have academic violations, you should lose wins. It's student athletes, right? They always tell me, NCAA, IHSA want to tell me all the time until they're blue in the face that it's about the student athletes, and they're not.
Okay, can I give you my generally sardonic attitude that I'm passing along to you guys, and you guys are both absorbing at an amazing rate? Whereas Lake County politics is not all about the money. It's about the power, and it's about, like, screwing each other for some reason. And it's like part of that game, okay? NCAA basketball, and as we're learning, another level of administration of basketball, is all about the money, okay? And if they do something too big to North Carolina basketball, that affects everyone. That affects all of NCAA basketball. Millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars are affected.
Well, I would think the same about Notre Dame football.
No, it's the middle of February, and you take away 21 old wins from Notre Dame, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well,
we're going to talk about it right here, and the rest of the day, no one's going to mention it to me. And I got like 4 different places to go today. No one's going to even mention it because nobody cares.
Well, they could have at least taken the wins away from North Carolina too, because the announcement came out in the summer, and nobody would have cared then too, right, about college basketball. They could have at least taken the wins. They didn't do anything.
They're smart. There's public relations to make the most amount of money, and it's even worse than that. It's someday this whole system will get flattened. Because really what you have is all of this money that is being made off of NCAA basketball. All of the advertisers, all of the big salaries and administrations, all of huge programs and construction companies building big facilities, security firms. You could go down the line. It's all funded by 5 guys out on that basketball floor, or 11 guys at a time out on that football field who get none of that money. They are indentured servants. And there is only one thing to do for everybody that's involved that's making all this money, and it's huge. It's a huge, vast power, is to make it go to the next day. And by announcing Notre Dame's taking away of wins in middle of February, when there's a blizzard in Indiana and Trump's doing all sorts of crazy stuff and there's 4 or 5 sports going on, it's just stroke of genius. NCAA's done what they need to do. The system goes on. It's all about the money.
I know that. And one thing that we've had this discussion, right, about the players and should they be paid and all that stuff. I agree with you 100%. Jay Billis will tell you, speaking of another person who will talk until they're blue in the face, Jay Billis will talk about the money in sports and this. Now, he thinks that the players and the athletes should be paid. I'm kind of on the fence about it because of the scholarships. I think you are being paid. I think you're being compensated for your work. Now, is it a fair compensation? No, probably not. But what you have to keep in mind that diploma and what you're actually going to school for, the ability to just be able to dribble a basketball pretty well and shoot it pretty well, and have that cover over $100,000 in debt, basically, that everybody else has to walk out of Bloomington or out of Purdue with, is pretty valuable to me. And people are saying, well, they should be paid. Maybe they should be, but they're getting a scholarship. At least they're getting some money to this, to where it's going to help them down the line. And all in all, most of these guys who come to play college basketball, what is the percentage of guys who go on to have even a 1 or 2 year NBA career? It can't be very high. There's so many guys who are the 6th or 7th guy on the Hoosiers or on the Boilermakers or on the Bulldogs at Butler that, hell, they're selling insurance 5 years after they graduate. So it's hard for me to jump on that bandwagon of, oh, they need to be paid, they need to be paid. Okay, well, then take the scholarships, pay them a salary, and then they can come to school, and they can pay for their own school.
I don't know exactly what the answer looks like.
Neither do I.
Okay, but I'll tell you this. We talk about this here, and let's just be straight on some of the sports stuff and so forth. I'd like to take a back seat, and I certainly have, and Ryan and Sam have kind of stepped up this year, and we're going to have a big tournament push, and if anybody wants to be part of it, talk to Ryan or Sam, okay? Don't call me because I'm not doing it. But I try to tell you guys, everything has a value. And when you go into a negotiation, everything has a value. Like, you're doing this, we're presenting this. This has a value. So you're saying that college athletes going out there on the court and all these people making all this money, well, they're getting paid, but they're getting paid at a very low rate. And if you try to equate the value, you can't even make a case for it, okay? So basically the only real case for it is that that's kind of how it's always been done, all right? And I get that. But remember when we come back to that, and we talk in negotiations and we'll sit down and you guys will be like, well, why are you doing that? And I'll be like, well, let's break down the different values. Yeah. Everything has a value in a negotiation, and we have to make sure that we value ourselves and what we provide. And as soon as we went to that and we realized exactly what we have, our business has changed, to be quite honest. I didn't quite understand that concept, so I don't expect you guys to have it right away. But everything has a value, and you got to value yourself. And those guys are way undervalued.
The hardest thing for me, though, then, is to equate it to the regular students, right? Because you give out scholarships if you're a good school. You know, if you're Harvard, right, you might give out a couple of scholarships. If you're other schools, you might give out academic scholarships for somebody who is, you know, really good at putting code together, and they're going to help you build the next great supercomputer. I don't know. So how do you value that? I mean, the school can have value for that because, yeah, they might not be able to directly profit off of your ideas as an academic, but what they may be able to do is profit off the notoriety of having so-and-so come to their school. And I don't know how you can, it's so hard to tie down to me how you can directly value this person's contributions on the basketball floor as opposed to this person's contributions in the classroom and maybe on the internet one day or on the television one day as a contributor to CNN or Fox News, or look at what Mark Cuban's done for Indiana. I mean, him coming back and doing all the stuff he's done, it's just so hard for me to say, okay, how can we pay these guys? Because then as soon as you pay those guys, what are the regular students going to say? Wait a minute, this guy's getting paid to come here and get classes and get a diploma, and now I'm paying to come here?
Here's what you do. You pay them, then they got to pay for their own school.
Okay. So what is a fair, what do you think a fair salary would be for a
You know what? Here's the one thing that I learned from trading at the Board of Trade, and I didn't know this going into it, and I don't expect this, is that the market is a beautiful thing. The market tells you that you're good or bad. The market gives you money, and if you trade it poorly, then at the end of the day, you're out $100,000 because you sucked. Okay? It is the market will value your talents if you let the market value your talents. And we would, if we threw it on we're the free enterprise system for everything but college athletes and for pro athletes. In other words, they have a monopoly and they have an indentured service policy. And we're all okay with that, but in a weird way, to me, it somewhat weakens the free enterprise system. When you have everybody else dealing with the highest bidder, but then when you go to college, they have a monopoly that the only way you can play college basketball is if you play for nothing, and we give you a college scholarship. Okay, that's not the American way, man. It's like a Russian way.
And also one thing to consider too, if you start paying, to me, you take away that student athlete thing, because all of a sudden you're just, at that point, you're a basketball player.
You got it, man.
And
Hey,
how about- and also for basketball, the one and done rule. I mean, that I think it's unconstitutional. Some players are ready to play at 18, 19 years old. They're not going to classes.
I don't like it. I want them all to go to college. I'd love, in a weird way. All right, you're all forced to go to college for 4 years before you can play.
I mean,
in the
college
NBA.
Because we're college basketball fans, yeah.
Yeah,
college
because
football.
I love college basketball, but that's not right.
College football is 3 years.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Walsh and Sam Michael, thanks for sitting in. Anything else we can argue about?
Well, Blackhawks lost 5-2 last night. Their losing streak's at 7 now. Their longest since the 2010-2011 season. So, not a good note for the Blackhawks. You said you had some political questions.
Yeah, I
for
do
us.
have some. All right, here's the deal. All right, here's the story, the big story of the day. We told you guys this was going to get funky, and that is that Betty Dominguez, the wife of former Sheriff Roy Dominguez, filed to run for sheriff on Monday. That kind of shook up the whole political world around here. And I was kind of laughing about it, and Verley was getting mad, like, why do you find this so entertaining? And I'm like, well, I worked for Larry Peterson and Irv Lewin in the mid-'80s, and the same stuff was going on. They taught me then to just kind of, let it come and work through you. It'd be like a lightning rod and let the circus. And Irv and Larry would call it a circus, okay? And they would talk about the circus. And I learned it there. That's where I learned it from. I mean, this isn't me coming up with innovative thought here. This is learned from hard-boiled journalists of the 1980s. Well, I fear that I'm handing along Irv Lewin and Larry Peterson's jocularity about politics in Lake County to the many people who look up to me as the boss around here, and that's not just you two. And here's the story. Now, this newest story is, out of the Times, Lake County officials are calling on state police to investigate whether political attacks launched through an alleged fake Facebook account are a felony violation of state law. There's a person out there, or a group of persons, by the name of Jackie Sutton, and they have created a Facebook page, and they are saying some god-awful things about some Lake County politicians. The Times has learned in their article that there may be a fingerprint of telecommunications information that leads back to the home of Democratic candidate for sheriff David Dowling. They're saying it also may be leading to the home of what they're calling federally convicted felon Robert Cantrell. So you have the circus continuing, or do we have possible felony convictions coming our way? Now, this is especially impactful on the situation of Mr. Robert Cantrell, and that he is a federal felon, and if he was found to be violating any of the many codes that he's not supposed to violate, it could be catastrophic for his future freedom. Well, anyways, could be. But we don't know where this is going. Cantrell said, I don't do Facebook and I don't read Facebook. Okay, there you go. And then David Dowling said, I think this is a political scam by the sheriff. The sheriff now, of course, is Oscar Martinez. If it was a real investigation, he would be contacting people, not the media. It is very disappointing. Now, Oscar Martinez and Bernie Carter have gotten together and asked the Indiana State Police to look at this. I'm going to ask my up-and-coming sardonic young broadcasters here, when you hear this, Ryan Walsh, your first reaction to this?
This is in-party fighting. That's what comes to my mind. They're both on the Democratic ticket.
Sam, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, actually, this vaguely reminds me of, but the only difference is, Ryan just mentioned it, it's in party this time, is what's going on at a national level, where folks have now decided to take our federal and state governments and state police forces potentially. We saw it happen with the FBI, with the Democrats here, all the Russian collusion stuff that supposedly is there that we have not seen for a year and a half. Supposedly it's there, though. We keep having all these very expensive investigations, and now Bernie Carter and Oscar Martinez want to involve the state police on this kind of stuff with I don't know any of the facts, but it just seems like, again, we're weaponizing.
Yeah, you know what? You're weaponizing the. You know, I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah.
Way to go. Good analysis, guys. In-party fighting leads to weaponizing a law enforcement agency
against another political candidate, which is what our government was designed. The FBI and stuff, folks back then, Congress back in the day said, we're worried that we could weaponize this potentially against other political candidates. Said, no, that'll never happen. Here we are.
So here we are at the national level. The FBI. Did you see the FBI kind of just turned on Trump yesterday? And I forget I don't even forget what it was. It was about the Porter case and the sexual domestic violence. And we told them. And the FBI isn't backing up Trump at all because now there's such infighting between law enforcement and the executive branch. Now you have Oscar Martinez and Bernie Carter. Are they trying to weaponize the Indiana State Police? Will the Indiana State Police be weaponized? Or will they say, hey, you know what, figure out your own political infighting by yourself, which is back to Ryan's comment?
I sure hope not. If they have evidence, go for it. But if you don't, I mean, it's going to get messy.
All right, the more important question is, am I handing down to you Larry Peterson and Irv Lewin's sardonic nature of politics around here? Ryan?
No, I don't think so. I just think that's the way that the county politics have been, and you gotta treat it like that. You know, as you say, paint the world as it is, not the way you want it to be.
Sam?
You might have a tint, but I came here already kind of that
loaded.
You talk to my dad for 10 minutes, and you already know where that comes from. So it's just at this point in my life, you look at politicians, and if anybody who comes in here, every politician that comes in here, I like as a person. Whether it be Tom McDermott, Frank Mervan, whoever, we talk, and they all seem like good guys and whatnot. But Sheriff Bunstad seemed like a decent guy too. And I'm not trying to say McDermott or Mervan or anybody have those kind of backgrounds and are doing things behind the backs of anybody. But at this point in my life, you look at a politician and you take everything they say with a grain of salt, and you just say, okay, you don't completely trust the politician because of so many before them who have set that tone.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie who? Jackie Sutton. Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie who? Jackie Treehorn. Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie Treehorn Sutton, open the door.
Hey, everybody, it's Valentine's Day. Make more love, not more hate. Enjoy the roses. Eat some chocolates.
Be right back.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Easy Clean is happy to announce their new location's grand opening at 1637 45th Street in Griffith. Open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Or stop by one of our 3 other locations in Highland, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, carpet shampooer, air freshener, and towel with every wash. And it's fast, easy, convenient, safe, and gentle. Go to myeasyclean.com for more information.
Everything Italian. That's what you get at Giuseppe's Restaurant in Cherville.
Hi, this is Joe from Giuseppe's Everything Italian. Here today to let our friends and listeners to WJOB know about the few things that we have added. We offer catering now, catering for your party, family event, or even for businesses. Just give us a call at Giuseppe's at 322-0011 and ask for Joe. Thank you.
Giuseppe's Everything Italian is located at 1000 Eagle Ridge Drive in Cherville, just north of the Showplace Theaters. 219-322-0011 or visit giuseppespizza.net.
Hey, everybody. We got a little carried away with the circus in town, but we have to look at the national scene right now. We have a senator out of Notre Dame, of all places, and he is calling in from, I believe, Washington, D.C., correct? And that is Senator Joe Donnelly. Senator, how are you today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me with you today.
You know, I'm sorry about Notre Dame losing 21 football victories, but I think you'll be okay. Or what's going on? How's that affecting you this morning?
Well, I was going to call him up and say, so if those games didn't really count, do we get a refund for the tickets? But I don't think so, is my guess.
You know what? That was a fairly well thought out retort. Hey, let's talk about
I thought of it in about 3 seconds while you were talking to me.
Way to go. Hey, let's talk about amateur athletic organizations, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, the Michigan State situation has brought up some, vagaries in the law. Looks like you and Senator Young have gotten together to get a bill that might take care of some of those. Explain to folks, will you please?
We have. We are waiting for the president to sign it. We expect that to happen this week. It passed the House and the Senate. What this bill does is it protects our athletes, and what it enables them to do is if they file or if they have a sexual abuse claim, then they don't have to be in a situation where they have to confront the abuser or they have to do this or do that. Our organizations are now required, as soon as that athlete tells them to contact the police, that they have to contact the police immediately. Before, what was happening, can you imagine this? A girl 13, 14 years old who's been sexually abused by this doctor from Michigan State who is now in jail for the rest of his life. But before, what these associations did, in some cases, they would make a 13 and 14-year-old girl sit and have to sit across the table from the very person who abused her and make the claim in public in front of them to verify. It was just disgraceful. And so what we're doing is making sure that these claims get reported to the police and that the police can act on them.
All right, so let's get a little bit more detailed on this. All right, let's use that. Let's say that at University of Indiana, okay, because it doesn't exist. We will use that as an example. University of Indiana has training for volleyball, and one of the girls on the volleyball team says one of the coaches sexually abused her. Okay, now, is the University of Indiana even allowed at that point to not contact the police and say, hey, we're going to do our own investigation before we go forward? Or are they now required to immediately contact police?
Well, this is in regards to our amateur athletic organizations. So it doesn't involve the University of Indiana. But what I would hope is that the University of Indiana would already have regulations, and I believe they would, that would require as soon as that athlete told them, that they would then immediately contact police to take action, or I should say to investigate and determine the charges.
Okay, so with amateur athletic organizations, the procedure, if your bill is signed by President Donald Trump, would be what?
Would be that as soon as they report it to the governing body, to the people in charge, that they are then immediately required to contact the police, and that the police will then do an investigation to determine the charges.
All right, so there's a lot of amateur athletic organizations right around here. I mean, you know, you've got youth basketball, I mean, volleyball. You can think of almost every sport. You can think of lacrosse even. So are we going to send out like a man? I mean, how are we going to let these people know that this is now the law?
Well, what we're trying to do, what this is it requires U.S. amateur athletic organizations. And so,
not local ones.
Right, U.S. amateur athletic organizations. Yeah.
Okay, so
But I would obviously hope, and we would hope, that all the local organizations would follow this lead.
Okay, so the Michigan State situation has obviously made its way onto the floor of Congress right away, and you and Senator Young, the two Indiana senators, correct? And
that's right.
Yeah, and I think I'm interviewing Senator Young in a few days, or he's coming to the area.
Great.
Yes, I am. He's coming up here, and I'm going to be interviewing him next week, and we'll talk about this again. Is this, as far as you want this to go, is this part of maybe a longer plan to get even more laws regarding this, or what are you trying to do here?
Yeah, we want to make sure that all these athletes are protected, all these kids are protected, and at the end of the day, all our children are protected. You know, we've had numerous situations with various organizations where kids were assaulted, were attacked, and instead of immediately telling the police, it was these people were passed to other places to go to work there or to go to work over there. And so what we want to do is make sure that culture of cover up ends. And we want to obviously make sure that in the U.S. amateur athletics it does, but it should end with every college. It should end with every high school and all our schools.
We have a budget deal. Government didn't close down. Where are you on this thing and your involvement in it?
Yeah, I was very supportive of getting this done so that we didn't close the government down, because our first and foremost obligation is to make sure we're taking care of the needs of the country and the people of the country. And so what it does, in part, obviously, it has a significant increase for our military so that we can have everything we need to keep our men and women safe. One of the other areas, it provides significant funding for opioid programs here in Indiana to try to make sure that we can help those who are struggling with opioid abuse.
All right, so give the region. It says it's a bipartisan deal. Of course, Senator Donnelly, you're, I guess, known as being a relatively bipartisan senator. How bipartisan really was this thing?
It had 73 votes, so almost everybody, 26 people didn't vote for it. So some Republicans didn't and some Democrats, but the vast majority of Democrats and Republicans did vote for it. And so it was pretty much a bipartisan vote in order to keep the government working and to keep our basic functions moving forward.
All right. Do we still have the emergency declaration on opioid abuse?
We do. The president's emergency declaration, what it does is helps to bring a spotlight to the issue. But we were able, through the budget that just passed, to put some meat behind it with funding.
And the prognosis on dealing with this, do you feel like you're getting reasonable interest across the aisle?
This is completely bipartisan again. Opioid scourges, families who struggle and suffer with this, it doesn't know any income level or any color or any religion or any political party. This is, Jim, this is tearing families apart in almost every town we have. And so we're in this together. A mom from my hometown of Granger, which is just outside South Bend, she lost 2 boys in one night who combined a beer with one opioid pill and came home that night and said, "Good night, Mom, we love you." But as the night went on, when they were sleeping, their heart rate, what it does is it takes your heart rate so low. And so this was a suburban family. These kids went to a party, came home, kissed their mom goodnight, and this happens. It's so deadly, and it can happen to anyone.
He is U.S. Senator Joe Donnelly. He calls us from time to time just to update what's going on in Washington. Anything we missed, Senator?
Well, maybe you can help me with that plan to get our money back for all those games that actually apparently didn't occur.
Well, we just had a rather lengthy discussion about it, but I don't think that's going to happen. Thanks for calling in, Senator.
Hey, thanks, my friend. Bye-bye.
Talk to you. All right, guys, 7:07 in the 7:08 in the Calumet region. What time is it? It's time to talk to Jack with traffic. Hey, Jack, what's going on out there, buddy?
Hey, if you're going to St. Louis, take 57. Don't take 80 to 55.
Hey, how come downtown Joliet is like a magnet for accidents? What happens down there?
The same thing that happens over on 8094 where those aliens come over and take their brains out. Remember I told you about that earlier?
Mm-hmm.
It happens over on 8094 between Ripley and Torrance over there. Same thing happens over there.
All right, man. Don't go out. There's a big accident. And
big accident on the westbound side there by 30, and it's backed up from 30 all the way to, as far as you can see, and eastbound it's backed up from the Steel Bridge to 30.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Talk to you.
All right, bye.
All right, we've been talking about that all morning. Another accident in downtown Joliet on I-80, and that continues out. Full traffic and weather and Attorney General Curtis Hill. And we'll have him in just a moment. But right now, we got to hear from our good people at Napleton River Oaks Honda. What time is it? 7:09 at 12:20 today. 50 years of marriage of Donna and Fred Halpern will be commemorated with renewing their vows at Albert's in Cherville. People will be getting married all day. There'll be several different judges and magistrates rotating in a couple-hour shifts throughout the day at Albert's. Just stop by, man. It's Valentine's Day. It's Fred and Josh and Donna. How much more Region Valentines can you get than Albert's Diamond Jewelers? I'll be right back.
Winter weather got you down? Wish you had a brand new SUV with all-wheel drive? Come check out Napleton's River Oaks Honda, Northwest Indiana's destination for new and certified pre-owned Honda CR-Vs and Pilots. You can also check out the 2018 Honda Accord. Need another reason? How about a free smartwatch with a test drive? But hurry, this offer won't last. Come find out why you'll get our best deal at River Oaks Honda, right off 8094 on Torrance Avenue Avenue or online at riveroakshonda.com.
Maple's second to none since 1931.
Must be 18 years or older with valid driver's license. Limit 1 per household. No purchase necessary while supplies last.
Carpenters Local 599 joins with other Carpenter locals to build the local economy and has been doing so for over 117 years. We are proud to be a member of the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters, which is threefold: training, professionalism, and partnership. We also offer some of the best benefits in the industry. To find out how to become a member of Carpenters Local 599, contact us at 219-942-0518 or log on to ikorcc.com.
I love Indiana. I love Indiana.
I really love Indiana.
Seems like we hear someone say this almost every day. We love Indiana too. Its natural beauty, the people, and the Indiana values that make them who they are. These same Indiana values make Strachan Van Til a place people love to shop. We're dedicated to the people in the neighborhoods we serve, to the Indiana values we share, and to providing an experience that will make you dedicated to us. Strachan Van Til is Indiana's grocery store, and we're Indiana made.
When I received the news that I had cancer, I was terrified. There were so many treatment options. That's why I called Rush Radiosurgery for a second opinion. Rush Radiosurgery in Chicago has a dedicated and caring team of physicians specializing in leading-edge technology to treat my cancer without surgery in less than 5 outpatient visits. If you want a second opinion for your cancer treatment, call Rush Radiosurgery 312-942-4600 or visit their website, rushradiosurgery.com.
Mayor Thomas M. McDermott Jr. and the City of Hammond invite all region residents to attend 219 Day, the strongest party in the region, on Saturday, February 17th from 6 to 11 p.m. at the Hammond Civic Center. This year, 219 Day will entertain you with feats of strength, including gladiator joust, thumb wrestling, a punching bag, a climbing wall, and you can ring the bell with a sledgehammer. Take photos with your friends in the feats of strength selfie area, take a swing at the 219 Day Piñata, and don't forget to sign the You Know You're From the Region IF board. As always, the best in region food and craft beers will be available. Enter to win the stacked grocery cart filled with wonderful region prizes provided by area businesses. Live entertainment includes Rico Hampton as Michael Jackson, the Nomad Planets, and region favorite, the Craw Puppies. Sponsorship opportunities are still available. Visit 219day.com for more information or call 853-7708. 219 Day, the strongest party in the region.
Knock, knock, who's there? Jackie, Jackie who? Jackie Sutton. Knock, knock, who's there? Jackie, Jackie who? Jackie Treehorn. Knock, knock, who's there? Jackie Treehorn Sutton, open the door! 7:14 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Deedlow, host of JED in the region. I got to tell you that 219 Day, which is actually on 217 this year, is one of the better parties in the region. It is right up there with, for sheer sights. If you just like region people and you like watching region people and hearing them, it doesn't really get much more region than 219 Day, which is 217 this year. And it's at the Hammond Civic Center, or it has been in the past. I didn't listen to the spot. And I have a ball at this thing. I can't be there that long. I got 2 other parties, but I'll be there. I got to stop in, man. You got to support 219 Day, man. If you're a region, if you're a rat, if you're a region rat and you like being around other region rats, that's a good party. Hey, guys, it's 7:14. What time is it? It's time to go to Albert's. Today is Valentine's Day. And if you're a region person, just make a stop at Albert's. Maybe you look at the watches. Maybe you watch somebody get married. Maybe you just talk to the people. It's kind of like a running entertainment section there. All right, hey, what do we have in traffic? 294 around the city is tight from Cicero all the way up to the Stevenson. And as Jack just said, do not go on I-80 westbound. And if you know anybody coming back, they got problems too. Bishop Ford, 113th to 113th up to the merge is tight, but it's been worse. It's actually the lightest day of the week right now. Skyway Toll Road, Borman and I-65, US 30 Klein Avenue are all moving along pretty well, surprisingly. Taking thanks a lot to Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Weather today, finally, the sun came up at 6:43 right above Indianapolis Boulevard at our studios here. and it is a gorgeous morning. Kind of variable cloudiness, but a lot of this 18 inches of snow is going to melt today as we get up into the low 40s. Doesn't even get down to freezing overnight, and it stays that way, and it rains tomorrow. We may see some grass by the end of tomorrow, and that is quite the accomplishment. But then on Friday, we start out at about 30 degrees, and then it drops all day long until we're in single digits by evening, and it gets real cold and just kind of stays there for a day or two. All right, there it is. Let's talk. We just talked to U.S. Senator Joe Donnelly. He was calling in from Washington, D.C. Now let's go to a guy calling in, I guess, if he is down in the Indianapolis area. Attorney General, where are you calling from today?
I'm back home in Indiana, back in Indianapolis.
All right. You left Indianapolis for a little while, right?
I was in Washington yesterday. I was at an event at the White House where President Trump was celebrating Black History Month. There was a number of individuals there at the reception, and it was an honor to be there and to hear, I thought, some very profound words on the history of Black achievement in America and the president's vocal support.
What does Black History Month mean to you?
Well, it's an opportunity to recognize the contributions of Black Americans throughout our history. It was certainly a necessary, and still is a vital necessity to recognize that. But it's also a reminder that at some point we need to blend our Black heroes of the past into our entire American ethos, so that we no longer segregate our recognition by month, and we just recognize that we have a very diverse background of American heroes and celebrate them all together.
I have your editorial in front of me, and it says this: Attorney General Curtis Hill, who's on the phone with us right now, let's punish actions of hate rather than thoughts. A lot of states have a hate crimes law. Indiana does not. Your stance on this law?
Well, it's like any particular law. It's a matter of what you call it, and it's a matter of what it purports to do. Hate crimes, when you say the word hate crimes, automatically it's meant to say, well, how can you be against it? Hate is bad, and therefore it ought to be a crime. But what we don't do in this country a great deal of is think through it. And as I think through the process, we first have to define what we mean by hate crimes. And if we talk about legislating hate, and hate is an emotion, hate is a belief, hate is a thought, well, our Constitution is very, very clear that we don't prohibit free speech, free thought, unless there's a manifestation of that thought that moves towards wrongful conduct. And so from my thought process, traditionally not being one that suggests that hate crimes is necessary, I wanted to think it through to its logical conclusion and come up with what it really ought to be. It's not a matter of legislating hateful thought. It's a matter of making sure that the conduct that arises from the hate, what I call the manifestations of hate, are clearly prohibited by law. And then taking it a step further and suggesting who can be a victim of hate, because that's another sticking point in the models for so-called hate crimes, is that it tends to have a hierarchy of who can be protected and who cannot.
So answer that. Who can be protected and who cannot?
Well, under the theory of most hate crimes legislation nationally, there typically is an enumerated list, a list that someone decides that these are groups that can't be hated or can't be discriminated against. And my point is, if you have any group that you set apart and say they are protected, you necessarily have another group that's not. In my view, that's contrary to the constitutional provision of the 14th Amendment that says equal protection for all. So as you read the op-ed that I wrote, I basically characterized the victim in a hate crime situation as anyone who has an identifiable characteristic. So that identifiable characteristic can be black, white, man, woman, gay, lesbian, Jewish, Catholic, Muslim. It can be anyone. It can be a redhead, blonde. If you designate a particular class and you demonstrate a hate of that particular class and take a physical or otherwise contrary position to them, then that could be considered a hate crime. In other words, we do away with the list and basically make it an equal provision that hateful conduct, manifestations of hate applied to any identifiable group should be prohibited.
We're talking to Attorney General Curtis Hill. Many of you may have read his editorial. I think it appeared in the Times and the Post. And I got to tell you, Attorney General, I read it. You're explaining it, I think, much more clearly to me now, or at least I'm getting it now. So let's look at what the first two groups you mentioned in that list: black people and white people. So under a hate crimes law, black people would be protected, but white people would not. Am I reading that correctly?
Well, under whose law? I mean, that's part of the problem. And keep in mind, what I'm trying to do is think through a process that makes sense, because most of the provisions of hate crimes that exist throughout the country, I don't think make sense. I don't think they're enforceable. I think they're more symbolic. They have more to do with feeling good that we've done something rather than actually create a prohibition against a manifestation of hate. So I want to make that clear. What most hate crimes legislation does out there in the country is legislate emotion and thought, and I think that's a problem. What we're trying to look at is a way to address it from the conduct that arrives out of it. So getting back to your question, it depends on how the question is framed in terms of, are you protecting black and are you protecting white? The origins of protected class really came from post-Civil War Reconstruction, in a recognition that blacks were not being treated on an equal par with whites. So the protected class was not black. The protected class is race, but it was designed to uplift and give protections to blacks who were sorely in need of that protection. But the way that we operate, because it is a protection on race, it is true that if one were to discriminate against someone or hate someone because they were white, that would constitute a hate crime, because it would be a violation of the protected class of race, even though whites have not traditionally or historically been a group that's been discriminated against.
In your editorial, you say anyone who, what right-thinking person would oppose a bill targeting hate? Anyone opposed to any bill called hate crime should be prepared to be accused of bigotry, racism, and the like. Have you been accused of any of that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the modern view of politics in the world. Everybody focuses on the title or the surface of an issue. So simply saying, do you support hate crimes legislation? Well, for crying out loud, it depends on what it says. So there can be hate crimes legislation that I would say yes, and some that I would say no. It's the same thing that I mentioned about health care. We all want affordable health care, but that doesn't mean that we will support an act called the Affordable Health Care Act. It depends on what it says. And so what we have to do is dig deeper and get beyond the feel-good measures or the politically correct aspect of a title and say, what does this actually try to fix? What is wrong with our system that requires fixing? And if we can answer that question, then we can start to think logically about solutions.
Attorney General, you know where you're talking to. You're talking to the Calumet region right now. There's a lot of black people listening right now. And
sure.
And some of them, I'm just going to project, are going to say, wait a second, this black attorney general is not for the hate crimes law. And then they're not really going to be able to understand some of these gradations that you're talking about. I'm just wondering how black people are taking what you're doing and saying.
Well, I don't know that if I don't accept the premise that you just offered, Jim, that says that I'm not in favor of the hate crimes law.
Okay.
What I'm saying is it depends on what the hate crimes bill says. There can be a hate crimes bill that's titled hate crimes that can be completely, I think, wrong, or there could be a bill that's entitled hate crimes that hits the particular aspects. What I've proposed is that as long as we're looking at manifestations of hate, for example, if you burn a cross, that's more than vandalism. That's sending a message to a community that violence is on its way. That's what I call the manifestation of hate. So it gets beyond I hate this person. It's I hate this person, and now I've done an action in furtherance of that hate. You get that distinction? Because I think that's an important aspect of where we go. The other thing is to make sure that it's equally applied. And here's what's happened. We now are getting into a category of victims that are more superior than other victims. And it's easy to see the history of blacks, women, religious minorities in terms of protected class. But in Indiana, a protected class now are people who smoke at home. That's in the Civil Rights Code in Indiana. Felons are a protected class. You can't ask people who've been convicted of a crime certain questions. Now, do you equate the history of oppression that blacks and women and religious minorities have suffered with folks who smoke at home or people who've been convicted of felonies? I don't. But that's what's happened to the protected class expanse. We've started to pick and choose who gets protected and who doesn't, instead of recognizing that if we're going to protect against something, that protection has to be applied to everyone. And we have to define that standard. What I'm asking people to do is think through the issue. The hate crimes legislation that I would consider would still provide protections not only for blacks, but for whites, for women, for gays, for transgender, for military, for law enforcement, because it would provide a framework that suggested that hate against anyone is hate against everyone.
He is the Attorney General of the state of Indiana, and I got to give it to you. You're going into treacherous grounds, or which could be treacherous grounds on this, and have injected a level of intellectualism into a topic that I, quite frankly, have not heard that level interjected into before. And it's opening up a whole new discussion on this topic. Now, there's a lot of people that are going to disagree with you, but that discussion's open, and I got to give it to you on that one.
Well, they can disagree. What I ask people to do is not disagree just on the raw motion. Look at what I'm talking about, do your own history, and look at the fact that we need to make sure that if we're going to take an action, it shouldn't be merely symbolic. It needs to be something that is in line with the Constitution and provides the support and protections that people think it does. And that's what I hope to accomplish through this.
What is Mary Beth Bonaventura? What are her duties in your office there, Attorney General?
We're very pleased to have Mary Beth on board. She is she's a senior advisor or a senior counsel. I was excited to get her years of experience, not only in state government, but as a local judge in your neck of the woods. Her reputation is outstanding. So she's going to be helping with me with a number of projects in outreach. She's going to be involved in our 10-Point Coalition project, which is collecting steam on a regular basis, and other types of programming. She's also going to be involved heavily in some of our basic aspects of consumer protection and the various things that we do within the office. Very excited to have her on board.
Do you have any misgivings about some of the stuff she said on her way out of Governor Holcomb's office?
Well, I don't get involved in what she said. That's between she and the governor. I think certainly the unfortunate thing is that particular conversation or communication was not private. I think that's the real unfortunate aspect, because I think that was not beneficial to the governor or Mary Beth. But as far as what we're looking for, I think she's a dynamite person. I've known her for quite some time. I recall when I first heard of her, I counseled with my good friend Bernie Carter, your Lake County prosecuting attorney, a dear friend of mine, and Bernie had nothing but glowing comments about her. So from that time forward, I've been a big fan of Mary Beth, and I think she's going to do great things for our office.
He is the Attorney General of the state of Indiana, Mary Beth Bonaventura. As many of you well, all of you probably know, was a Lake County judge here for, I think, a couple decades, well-known, went to work in the Republican administration of Mike Pence, and for a while in Governor Holcomb. She is now working in the administration of Attorney General Curtis Hill. I would love if you could think about it and schedule to have you and Mary Beth sitting at the end of the table here telling us about some of those initiatives, the 10-point program and so forth. That is a wide-open invitation to both you and Mary Beth to join me here on the show.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we get her fully immersed in all that she's doing and in that position, which I would say shouldn't be too long, we'll likely take you up on that.
Thanks a lot, Attorney General. Thanks, as always, for your candor and openness on these topics.
Thank you, Jim. Take care of yourself.
Talk to you. 7:31 in the Calumet region. You know what time it is? It's time to go to Albert's. It's Valentine's Day. You can get something last minute at Albert's. And if you drop by, you will be treated to people getting married all around you. As it's that day. It's Valentine's Day. They'll do it for free. They'll give you pictures, all that stuff. There's food there. 12:20 is the big moment. We'll have that on Facebook Live. Jimmy Mullaney and Debbie Wargel will be out there live for the renewal of the vows of Donna and Fred Halpern, and that'll be at 12:20. Debbie will host that, and they will bring that to you live on Facebook. Gino may even cut in on that from his, what's Wednesday? Yeah, might be able to even get Gino to cut in on that and announce it as it's coming up. So keep an eye on our Facebook feed at WJOB.1230 if you want to see the renewal of the vows of Fred and Donna Halpern. All right, guys, go on out. 7:32. It's time to go to Albert's.
All right, Joshy boy, this Valentine's Day is Mom and I's 50th anniversary. So why don't you tell them all the great stuff we've got for Valentine's Day?
You know, Dad, we're doing our greatest promotion of the year at Valentine's Day because anybody who comes in and spends $99, you get chocolate, you get flowers, you get dinner, and you get the jewelry. I mean, I don't know how I do it, but what an amazing deal.
I don't know how you do it either, Josh, but let's hope we see everybody at Valentine's Day.
Hey, we'll see you this Valentine's Day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Some exclusions apply. Albert's Jewelers is located at 711 Main Street in Cherville and also inside South Lake Mall. See albertsjewelers.com for more information.
Injured in an accident that was not your fault? Get Gladish. Not only does he have over 20 years of experience, but Attorney Gladish is also a board-certified civil trial specialist by the National Board of Trial Advocacy, a member of both the Best Lawyers in America and Indiana Super Lawyers, and has achieved the highest possible peer review rating of AV by Martindale-Hubbell. Let Attorney Gladish, along with his attorneys and staff, deal with the insurance company and its attorneys while you are putting your life back together. Call for a free consultation, 219-838-1900, or visit thegladishlaw.com. Attorney Gladish's office is located at 3235 45th Street in Highland, Indiana. Remember, injured? Get Gladish. Experience, ratings, and certifications count.
From the moment you walk into the Family Birthing Center of St. Catherine Hospital, you will be in good hands. Our skilled obstetricians, knowledgeable practitioners, and compassionate nurses will guide you throughout the birthing process. Expectant parents are welcome to tour our beautiful facility and meet the staff. We have several tour dates on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. each month. Registration is required by calling 219-392-7900. Schedule your visit today at St. Catherine Hospital, located at 4321 First Street in East Chicago.
What gets you fired up when you think about college? Explore your roar at Purdue University Northwest. With 2 exciting campuses in Hammond and Westville, more than 70 areas of study, and NCAA Division II athletics, Purdue Northwest offers it all at an excellent value. Learn more at pnw.edu and apply today. That's pnw.edu. Join the pride at Purdue Northwest.
Giovanni's in Munster, Northwest Indiana's premier Italian cuisine. Come enjoy our expertly prepared veal, steak, seafood, and other Italian delicacies. Experience over 20 years of entertainment with our piano player Jack every Friday and Saturday evening in the lounge. And join our VIP or E-Rewards on your next stop in. Host your special shower or celebration in our back room. Giovanni's is located at 603 Ridge Road in Munster. Call 836-6220 to make a reservation. Check out our menu at giosmunster.com.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie. Jackie who? Jackie Sutton. Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie who? Jackie Sutton. Jackie Treehorn. Knock, knock. Who's there? Jackie Treehorn Sutton. Shut up. Open the door. 7:36 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Deedlow, host of JED in the region. I got another, I don't know, I got a little while here. I got John Pagatti calling in from South Suburban College. But I got time to talk to you, 21984. That's him now? All right, well, he's going to have to wait. He's not doing anything. Just yelling at his kids. Hey, 294 around the city, Cicero up to Stevenson. That's moving along okay, but no, it's not. From Cicero to the Stevenson is tough. 80 going east and west out to Joliet's just a nightmare. As you heard Jack call in, don't go that way. How's that? I don't know how better way to say it. It's stopped. I think it's closed, or at least down to one lane. Don't go that way. Backed up as far as you could see. Both directions. Bishop Fode from 120th or so on up to, say, 103rd. It's stop and go. Southern end of the Dan Ryan's no picnic, but I'll tell you what, at least as you're driving up the Dan Ryan, you look over to your right, and there's a glow in the sky. There's this little, light underneath some of the cloud. What is that thing? It's the sun. And if you are watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, Sam, can you put the camera on me for just one moment? See that thing on the left side of my face? That's sunlight. See that thing on the big mound of white snow behind me? That is there's a shadow or something on that mound. That's sunshine. Just in case you've forgotten what it is, sunshine has invaded our lives today. Variable cloudiness, so later, high of 42 tomorrow. High of 44. Fog in the morning, then some rain. A lot of this stuff is going to melt. And that's unfortunate because my snowshoes came in yesterday, and I was going to take them out to Wicker Park, and I can't get free until about 1 this afternoon. So, knock, knock. Who's there? 31 is your high on Friday. Friday's going to be a weird day. It's going to start out. I'm going to be standing out there courtesy of Ironworkers Local 395 at about 5:35 in the morning. And it's going to be 30, 31 degrees. And then by the time Harlow picks up the microphone in the afternoon, it's going to be in the teens. And then by the time we do are we doing a game on Friday night? Who? Andre and Munster basketball game. It's going to be in the single digits by the time that ends. So it's going to be one of those weird days. It gets colder as it goes along. All right. That's what I wanted to talk about there. And weather is brought to you by our good friends at Carpenter's Local 599. They are located here and are much older than WJOB, which is hard to believe because we're started in 1923 or 24. If somebody isn't doing anything, give us a date, will you? Because at some point we're going to have a 100th anniversary, and I want to get it at least close. I don't know if it'll be in the 23 or in 24. All right, that's good. That's all you need to know. We talked to U.S. Senator Joe Donnelly. We talked about opioid abuse. We talked about sexual abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse in youth sports, if you can imagine that. Then we talked about hate crimes with Attorney General Curtis Hill. There is hate in this world, and we have to deal with it in a legislative and a legal manner. And then there's basketball, which for the most part is good and pure and beautiful. And every once in a while, there's good and pure and beautiful parts of basketball. And one of them, although he is rather foul-mouthed and looks like just an enlarged version of the cartoon character Elmer Fudd, he has just reached 350 wins as the head basketball coach at South Suburban College right across the state line. And that is John Pagatti. Coach, thanks for calling in this morning.
I'm going to tell you about the large thing, okay? Now, I'm not, you're the one that's eating all these prune poochkies all the time, okay? So you're the one matter of fact, you made me go out and get one yesterday on Fat Tuesday, all right? So it's actually pretty good. So, for your little grandmother that told you what to do, it wasn't bad. But happy Valentine's Day, Jed. Did we find Ryan a date for today?
You know, I think Ryan's he's going to be watching the Indiana-Illinois game tonight, so there wasn't any way to
that
fit
might
in.
be his only Valentine's Day present because that's one of the games they'll win this year, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm saying the other way. It's at Illinois, right? No, it's at
No,
Indiana.
it's at Indiana. That's why they'll win.
John Pagatti came to town 11 years ago, and I hope this didn't turn him away, but I believe I may have been the first person that he got together with when you came to town. Remember that day?
Yeah, we did. We actually it was 12, and then we did, and actually you guys showed us around and showed us different areas, and then you actually talked us into you and I think it was I can't remember who teaches over at what relation she is to you that teaches over at the Montessori Children's Schoolhouse in Hammond, but that's where we ended up sending our daughter to school. Yep.
Yeah, my cousin's wife, the former mayor's wife, Lori, was at Montessori for a long time. Pagatti, you came to town. You've coached all over this country. What do you like about being here all this time now?
You know what? I like the region. I like the basketball of it. I like the knowledge of basketball, the passion for basketball around here, and the region is a nice place to raise a family, and there's good shopping for my wife. There's good restaurants. There's good neighborhoods. It's easy to get around in. The traffic isn't that bad unless there's construction on the Borman, and then Route 30 is horrible. But besides that, it's a pretty good place to raise your kids, and we have a good spot at South Suburban. And been doing very well there in the last 12 years, and just trying to keep it up this year.
Congratulations, Coach. 350 wins at one junior college is a lot of wins in 12 years. You've developed a powerhouse over there. And as much as I'm going to make fun of you all the time at every chance I get, I'm a huge admirer of what you've been able to accomplish. And I'll tell you what the number one thing is, and maybe you can address this for some of the other coaches over there. And my buddy Lofty agrees with me on this one, that you are able to get young men to be the best. You get more out of young men on the basketball court than any coach that I've ever personally been associated with. What's your secret?
You know what? We teach a lot of fundamentals here and really stress the fundamentals. When these guys come in, they're trying to look to go to a four-year school, and they've got to get better as basketball players to be able to do that. Some of them are talented, but they're either here for academic reasons or they got to develop their game. And so pretty much just from a character development and also from a player development, we're big into that. I mean, big example of that was last night. We had a young man that we had one from Croatia, so we played the Croatian national anthem for the sophomore night, and then it was a long one, so then he wanted to yap his jaws during the national anthem, so I had to yell at him about that, and but just sort of tell him that he's got to, respect the national anthem's got to be quiet during it, not do that type of stuff. So it's more just character development as well as skill development and that type of thing, and really trying to work on because these guys are trying to improve to move on and get the ultimate dream of playing at a four-year school and get their college education paid for. And if I can help a kid, because the cost of school these days, and you have some in your college yourself, so if you can get a kid to use basketball to help pay for his education, then we've done our job.
He's South Suburban College basketball coach, John Pagatti, South Suburban. All you got to do is take 165th and Hammond and keep going west. They've got messed up numbers over there. It becomes 159th. You take that for a few miles, and then you run into this pretty large campus on your right. It used to be called Thornton Community College, and for the past 20-some years or so, it's been South Suburban College. Coach, I saw that one of your guys just filled it up the other night for UNLV.
Yeah, Jovan Maureen, actually, he's got an invite to the NBA draft camp. He was National Player of the Year for us 3 years ago, and he had 31 against Nevada when they upset Nevada at Nevada. They were number 20th in the country at the time. So he's doing well, and he didn't have a good experience at his first junior college. Came to us. We had to, sort of break the colt and then get him back, reel him back in throughout the year, which we did. And, it's been great because, we've stayed in constant contact every week through this whole process. And he hasn't, he respects what happened in his experience at South Suburban and carrying it over to UNLV, and hopefully he can make some money at the game.
Coach, your record right now?
Right now, as that win was last night, we won our 350th, so we're 300 in the 12 years I've been there. We're 350 and 67. But what we're most proud of is we're 189 and 11 at home. That's one that we're really proud of.
Tell us about your team this year.
You know what? We've got, actually our best player has been hurt. We're 25 and 3 right now, but our best player got hurt. Lee Howard, the young man from Bishop Knoll, was leading us in rebound. It was just an all-around overall leader for us. And he got hurt, matter of fact, on December 7th. So that day will live with infamy for him, right, and tore his ACL, so he's out the year. So we sort of had sort of put Band-Aids on post play and have wings play to post right now. But we've got a leading scorer, Jordan Matthews, one of the leading scorers in the country at 33 last night, and kid from Kokomo, Indiana, and can really shoot it. And then we have a young man, Lawrence Lemon from TF South, just right across the border that I transferred from South Valley Junior College and actually just went to South Suburban, took the year off last year and came for us. And playing that 5 spot now with Lee doing well. He's actually in his last 6 games averaging 21 points and 14 rebounds a game. So he's starting to play. He's playing really well for us and really filling that role for us, even though he's more of a wing player than a post player. And then we have a guard from Memphis, kid that's a freshman, Courtney Carter, played for Penny Hardaway, who's a former NBA player, and played for his high school and his AAU team. And name's Courtney Carter, and he's playing. He's doing a really good job of leading the basketball team, and he leads the country in steals, and he's like second in assists. So we've got a pretty diverse group, and freshmen coming off the bench. We're starting to get a little production from a couple of them, and hopefully that'll continue. We have 2 more games left before the playoffs.
He's South Suburban coach John Pagatti, and your next game at home, coach, is?
We actually only have one more home game. It'll be the first round of our Region 4 playoffs. It'll be March 1st on Thursday. We play the last 2 games on the road. We're at Black Hawk College on Saturday. And then big one, Triton's number 2 in the country. We're number 4 in the country. We play at their place. They have a 68-game home winning streak. We played there on next Thursday. And then the following Thursday, we open up Region 4 play at home. And that'll be our last home game. And then the rest of them are on neutral sites.
Way to go, Pagatti. Never thought when you came into the region that you'd be here 12 years later and you'd have accomplished all this. So we're proud of you.
No, and after 12 years, I can't believe I'm still talking to you, by the way. So that's a shock, too. But I guess when you got guys that still talk to you that used to ride in the car with you to work like Mad Mac and that type of thing, you'll listen to any girl. So I guess really that's good.
Yeah, it's not a very exclusive group, believe me. All right, man. Thanks a lot. Talk to you.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. 7:49 in the Calumet region. You can hear John Pagatti and listen to John Pagatti along with Ryan Walsh on Monday nights. They do an excellent NCAA Insider show. They've been doing that for how many years, Ryan? 8 years. And it's really very entertaining. They had me on for a short while on Monday. And then they had, what's that guy's name? Sadi Washington from University of Michigan. And they talked about Big Ten basketball. Pagatti, obviously, he gets really good players. And a lot of these college coaches, they either want his players or they want to know from him who the people are that they might want to pick up, and they talk recruiting a lot. So he's able to get some big names on his show on Monday evenings. It really is, I love listening to that thing on Monday evenings, and I know a lot of you also do. Let's talk to Nicole. Do you think Nicole has been up for 2 hours or 3 hours at this point? Nicole Bennett and Westland. Well, let's see. Who do you think gets up earlier? Bennett or Westland? What if they wake up at the same time? Huh? Can't couples do that after a while? All right, guys. I'll be right back.
If you've been arrested or convicted of a crime in the state of Indiana, listen up. You need legal counsel. Doesn't it make sense to call an attorney who not only knows the law, but who knows the system? I'm Nicole Bennett, a former deputy Lake County prosecutor. I do know the system and how to help you with your criminal case. From traffic tickets to cleaning up your driving record to obtaining specialized driving privileges under the new 2015 Indiana law and misdemeanor and felony charges. And as many of you have experienced, I can even have your criminal record erased. Call me at Westland and Bennett in Schererville, 219-440-7550. Again, 219-440-7550.
Flu season got you down? Just left the doctor's office and don't want to wait in line at the pharmacy? Hi, this is Ellen from Quick Scripts Pharmacy inviting you to stop into any one of our 3 locations to experience our fast and friendly service to get you out the door and feeling better faster. We accept all insurances, have free local delivery, on-site one-on-one pharmacist consultations, and competitive pricing on generics and over-the-counter products. We are located in downtown Lansing, Illinois, downtown Griffith, Indiana, and our newest location off of 231 in Parrish Avenue in St. John, Indiana. Stop in today.
Eduardo's Natural Pizza in Munster has built a reputation for serving the finest Chicago-style stuffed pizza, loaded with fresh and natural ingredients. Not interested in stuffed pizza? Eduardo's has the best thin crust pizza, appetizers, salads, pastas, and more. Pick up a half-baked pizza from Eduardo's to take home and bake at your convenience. It's the perfect solution for those hectic nights. Eduardo's is located at 7920 Calumet Avenue in Munster. Dine in or carry out by calling 836-2010.
Winter weather got you down? Wish you had a brand new SUV with all-wheel drive? Come check out Napleton's River Oaks Honda, Northwest Indiana's destination for new and certified pre-owned Honda CRVs and Pilots. You can also check out the 2018 Honda Accord. Need another reason? How about a free smartwatch with a test drive? But hurry, this offer won't last. Come find out why you'll get our best deal at River Oaks Honda, right off 8094 on Torrance Avenue or online at riveroakshonda.com.
Mapleton, second to none since 1931.
Must be 18 years or older with valid driver's license. Limit 1 per household. No purchase necessary while supplies last.
All right. Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty neat, pretty neat. All right. Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty neat, pretty neat. All right. Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty neat, pretty neat. All right. My name's Jim Diedlow, host of JED in the Region. My time with you is going to come to a close in about 7 minutes right now. Then Dave Kuziak's going to take over and pay for that upcoming time there. And he has some folks from Geminis Corporation he's going to have on here in just a moment. It's been a busy morning already. Senator Joe Donnelly. It's been a busy morning with Attorney General Curtis Hill talking some deep racial topics that are, we didn't even get to analyze them. Then we had John Pagatti, the head basketball coach of South Suburban College. If you want to watch any of that, this is designed so that as soon as we're done, you can go on Facebook and you can watch this whole show if you got nothing else to do. Put it on in your office while you're just hanging out. High of 42 today, variable cloudiness right now here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It is 25 degrees. Let's see what the new flyer came out. Center cut pork roast, $1.99 a pound. Doesn't that always smell good? You can't have that today. I'm sorry, Coos. Let me turn your mic on. How you doing? How's
Ash
that?
Wednesday today. You can't have that.
You can buy it, though.
Sure.
You can touch it. You know what? My favorite, Wisconsin russet potatoes, an 8-pound bag, $1.99 each. Now, my wife's been getting on me because there's not as many people in the house as there used to be, and they're all eating so healthily and stuff. It's my personal favorite, along with some eggs and a gluten-free waffle, is to have a big pile of hash browns right next to it.
Ooh,
Isn't it? I mean, that really makes the difference. I'm going to have that in about 20 minutes here.
Potatoes actually are very healthy. It's everything that you put in or on potatoes is what makes it unhealthy.
Coming up next, Health Food Talk by Dave Kuziak, otherwise known as a fascia sofa roofing guy, but he also is quite the cook in the kitchen.
No, on the grill.
On the grill, that's right. A lot of talking, little barbecuing. A high of 42 today, variable cloudiness tomorrow. kind of gray all day, 44 your high. And then Friday it gets sunny again, but it drops throughout the day. It'll be one of those weird days once the sun comes up, it's going to get colder and colder throughout the day until you get to about 5 degrees by midnight on Friday. All right. That ought to do it. Weather brought to you by our good friends at Laborers Local 41, of which I am a proud alum. This final segment is going to be brought to you by RushRadioSurgery.com. And you know what? Every once in a while there is that horrific news comes in a family of a cancer diagnosis. And you don't know where to turn. You got your local doctors. Yes, use them. But every once in a while you want someone else to review it. Take it up to RushRadioSurgery.com. They are internationally acclaimed. And they have made a huge investment here at WJOB. We appreciate it. We've gotten to know them. And we went up and saw their operation. Huge reputation technologically, and they're just kind of good people. So start there at RushRadioSurgery.com.
Yeah, you know, my daughter was in the Thompson Center yesterday when that happened.
Let's talk about this. A police officer was shot yesterday at the Thompson Center in Chicago. Tell us about.
She was taking lunch. They were in the food court, and they heard all of the one thing that you think you see on TV that doesn't happen to you. The group that, you know, they were all having lunch, and next thing you know, they were all taking off, trying to run in the opposite direction of what they heard. So pretty scary, and obviously no one wants to see what happened, but I know a lot of people. My cousin is a Chicago police officer. Every time I hear someone getting shot, I always worry about what name it is. I always worry about their health, but just goes to show you right there, that's our last bastion of civilization, law and order. And the guy loses his life trying to do the best he can, and very revered over in the 18th district, from what I hear.
Sad day in law enforcement, my friends. You guys have all been watching that in Chicago as it came out yesterday afternoon. Longtime commander.
And I'm very worried about my daughter up there. And, you know, I know there's 3.5 million people, and your daughter's lived up there, and we all know people that have lived up there. You probably lived up there a little bit yourself, but I just got to tell you that it is you know, whenever you hear about this stuff, not just this particular thing, but the carjackings and everything else. And, you know, my daughter walks to the train every day, and, you know, where is our civility and civilization anymore to how we treat other people? I mean, I've been watching the American History Channel and looking back at a lot of World War II stuff, which was only 80 years ago. Why can't we just work on, do you hear what Coach Bugatti said? Character building, your skill set building. I mean, sometimes it just gets to you. You're watching this stuff, and then, you know, you're watching it. I actually was tearing up as I watched it. I came home about 5 o'clock, and I watched the procession. And these guys put their lives on the line every day. And it's just amazing to me at what we do to each other. I mean, do you ever think about that? Does it ever get you down? Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
You know, Coos, you know what it's like here. You've been in and around WJOB even before we bought it. I mean, pretty much every day. I mean, I'm talking with opioid abuse with Senator Joe Donnelly, talking about sexual abuse. Then we went right into hate crimes talk.
And, I mean, all the great things that we do here in this country on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I think in a direct answer to your question, a lot of times we fight it by detachment and humor here on the air, because if you let it get to you, you know, you're not gonna be doing your job. But I understand it, and I've gotten to points in my life that, you know, I just can't take more bad news. I get that. And it sounds kind of like you're having one of those points, and partly because your daughter was at the Thompson Center yesterday. So let's get back to that for a second. Did you talk to her afterwards?
Yeah, we talked to her about. She was
shaken up.
She was shaken up, but I mean, you know, that's a big center, but still, she heard all the bangs. You know, she heard all the shots, and you know, I mean, you've been through enough things in your life. You know, it's just no one wants anyone to go through it. You could visibly see all the people that they were interviewing on, you know, on the news stations, how it affected them, and then also life. You know, some of these guys have been lifetime police officers. You know, there's a reality that they go to work and they don't come home. And you couldn't pay, what, they get paid $100, $125 with overtime? Please. And have to deal with that kind of stuff every day? No. And we're going to be struggling with that as we continue to get additional police officers. And then, you know, if they make one mistake, they can go to jail. No. No. And then we're going to find out that this guy has been a lifetime criminal. I guarantee you when it comes out, he's going to have a rap record longer than he's going to have 25 different arrests. I guarantee you. But we're all worried about we're supposed to protect him, though. And a guy that's been a 31-year police officer is not going home to his family because he tried to help out and got shot 4 times. Ridiculous in this country. It's ridiculous. And then we're going to sit here and we're going to make sure that this guy, we're all worried about this. Just like I said, this Dr. Larry Nassar thing. If I were the judge, I would have given him no time whatsoever. 0. And I would have called all the parents, all the dads, those situations and said, guess what, guys? We're letting them out. Just like the old days. And say, if you can get through that parking lot, you're free.
Well, then you have the added problem of somebody kills him, and now another family is just.
Sometimes it's for the good of the order, kid.
He's Dave Kuziak, and he has some guests here, luckily, that are going to bring him back to
no,
civilization.
That's the reality. I think things worked a lot better back then.
Kuziak's got some people here from Geminis Corporation, so I'm going to vacate.
Some good people that try to change these things around so that we can get some of these people from doing negative things. We need more organizations like this so that when people are in need, we can try to keep them from getting back on the straight. We need to start getting people on the straight and narrow. We need to start giving incentive. We need to start saying that there's a better way. And we're supposedly the best country in the world.
Speaking of, the circus has come to town here in Lake County.
Oh, I've got a few things to say about that at 8:30.
All right, Kuziak's going to pick it up at 8:30, but the news item today is that Bernie Carter and Oscar Martinez are asking for the state police to come underneath the tent of the Lake County circus. And
that's a slippery slope there, too.
Anyways,
you start asking people to get involved with, if you start asking our law enforcement to get involved with politics, first of all, they don't have enough time. And secondly, you got to be really careful when you start taking that leap, because now all of a sudden, especially with this technology, did someone say something? Did someone didn't say something? There's enough things for us to do without having our top law enforcement officers get involved with if someone was playing footsies on Facebook or not.
The incredible case of the missing Jackie Sutton may be part of the Lake County politics. Kuziak will talk about that. I'll give you the summary. Oscar Martinez and Bernie Carter are asking the Indiana State Police to look into the case of Jackie Sutton on Facebook. Evidently, Oscar and Bernie don't like what Jackie Sutton is posting on Facebook, and she must be unmasked. And they have asked the Indiana State Police to do just that.
Only in Lake County? Are you kidding me? With all the things we have to solve, we're worrying about a person that may not exist on Facebook? Do we not have any pride for ourselves? And now we wonder why 18% of the people vote. It's going to be 15% after this sword pass that we have. It's ridiculous.
Dave Kuziak has a real interview to do right now. And then at 8:30, he's going to open up the exhaust pipe and let some of that go. I'm getting out of here because Matt Reardon's joining him, and they're going to, by this time, it is on Dave Kuziak and it's on Matt Reardon. Kuziak Construction. Fascia